Hello student. So in last lecture we have discussed about the ABO blood group and RH blood group and Landsteiner law and erythroblastosis fetalis kernicterus. So this topic we have discussed last time. So now we discuss about the blood transfusion, physiological basis of blood transfusion. Transfusion of the whole blood or the component of the blood is common in the medical practice. The common is the transfusion of the whole blood or RBC red cell concentrate that are required for the treatment of acute hemorrhage or severe anemia. However, one should be very careful for the possibility of transmission of infectious disease like HIV and hepatitis and other hazards of transfusion when transfusion is given frequently. Which are the indication for blood transfusion? So that is acute blood loss. Whole blood is preferred. Chronic anemia. Pink red cells are preferred to whole blood. Bone marrow failure. Leukemia, aplastic anemia, bone marrow infiltration by neoplastic cell. In bone marrow failure, fresh blood and specific blood components are required. Our red cells are administered along with the granulocyte to resist against the infection. So these are the indication for the blood transfusion: acute blood loss, chronic anemia, bone marrow failure, purpura in which platelet transfusion is preferred, clotting factor deficiency, fresh frozen plasma is preferred. In hemophilia, cryoprecipitate is given. Preparation for surgery and during surgery. If the patient is anemic, the blood is transfused prior to surgery. During the major surgery, blood transfusion is routinely administered. Loss of 500 ml of blood is usually tolerated during surgery in the patient with the normal hemoglobin prior to any surgery. If the blood loss is expected to be more than this, the transfusion is always planned. Burns. So burns is also condition in which the skin is lost. So also there is loss of protein from the burn surface. So this is corrected with the plasma and colloids. If the anemia is severe, the pink red cells are transfused. Anemia. Usually in anemia, blood transfusion is not required in stable type of anemia, but in the hemoglobinopathies that you study before, like thalassemia and sickle cell anemia, blood transfusion is a cornerstone of the treatment. Repeated and multiple transfusion in the thalassemia and sickle cell disease not only aim to improve the hemoglobin content but also to inhibit the erythropoiesis so that the defective cells are not produced. However, transfusional hemochromatosis limits the usefulness of this treatment. Procedure of blood transfusion. The first step in any transfusion is the identification of healthy and appropriate donor. So blood grouping and RH and ABO typing of both recipient and donor and cross matching of blood of both the recipient and donor are the next important steps in all the blood transfusion to ensure the safety and compatibility. So for procedure of blood transfusion, first we have to identify the healthy and appropriate donor. Then blood grouping of RH and ABO type of both recipient and donor and cross matching of blood of both the recipient and donor are done. Donor which donate the blood and recipient which accept the blood. The mismatched blood transfusion, the agglutination of RBC occur in the recipient's blood leading to the acute hemolysis. that is very life threatening. Therefore, a suitable transfusion always include selection of appropriate donor, ABO and RH typing, cross-matching and antibody screening of the patient. So if we perform the suitable transfusion, they include selection of appropriate donor, ABO RH typing, cross-matching and antibody screening of the patient. Selection of appropriate donor. So healthy donors free from transfusion or transmissible disease should be identified for blood transfusion. Ideally, the age of the donor should be 18 years or above and should not be above 60 years. So the age of donor between 80 to 60 years. Above 80 years and below 60 years. Donor should be voluntarily willing to donate the blood. The hemoglobin status of the donor should be estimated. It should be minimum of 12 gram percentage HB in the female and 13 gram percentage HB in the male. Donor must be screened for the AIDS, hepatitis, lymphomas, protozoal organism like malaria, filaria, etc. ABO and RH typing. The two major blood group system for transfusion are ABO and RH system. The ABO incompatibility causes immediate reaction and kill the person. The RH incompatibility causes delayed reaction. So ABO and RH compatibility must be ensured before any transfusion. The concept of universal donor and recipient help in this process, that is ABO and RH typing. So what is universal donor? This can be asked as the objective question. MCQ. The blood group O negative person are considered to be universal donor because their RBC contain no antigen. So O negative is universal donor. Therefore, their blood cell on transfusion to any individual do not cause the agglutination reaction. So blood group O negative can be given to the any individual. Universal recipient, individuals having blood group AB positive. AB positive blood group, that is universal recipient because their plasma contain no antibody. So they can safely receive blood from the any because they do not cause agglutination reaction against the any blood cells. So this is about universal recipient and universal donor. Universal donor is O negative and universal recipient is AB positive. So cross matching is must before any transfusion. Technically, the concept of universal recipient is true, but transfusion of the blood based on this concept may not provide full assurance of compatibility always, as there are many other minor blood group systems are there. So prior to blood transfusion, cross matching should be done to eliminate the possibilities of the any form of mismatching. In emergency condition, this concept may be used in selecting the donor if blood group of donor and recipient known without waiting for the report of cross matching. So you should do cross matching before any transfusion. It is must. So there are two types of cross matching, major and minor cross matching. So what happen in major cross matching? So in major cross matching, the cells of the donor are directly matched against the plasma of the recipient. As it is important to ensure that antibody present in the recipient's plasma, they do not harm donor's red cells. This cross matching is called major cross matching. Antibody present in the recipient plasma do not harm the donor's red cells, so it is called major cross matching. ABO agglutinogens means antibodies. Agglutinogens, that is antigen, highly antigenic and produce agglutination in no location. So therefore, through donors RBC are less in quantity than recipient, they produce agglutination. Minor cross matching, major cross matching in that antibody present in the donor's plasma do not harm the donor's red cell. Minor cross matching, donor's plasma is checked against the recipient's RBC, means donor's agglutinin is checked against the agglutinogen of recipient. It is minor cross matching because it is not very important to assess the reactivity of donor's agglutinin against recipient cell. Because small volume of donor's plasma is diluted in the large volume of recipient's plasma. So therefore, agglutination titer of donor's plasma falls to low level after transfusion, that they are unlikely to damage the RBC of the recipient. Agglutinin titer of donor's plasma falls to such a low level after transfusion, so they are unlikely to damage the RBC of the recipient. So for full compatibility, the minor cross matching should also be performed. Then antibody screening of the patient. The patient who received the transfusion, his serum should be screened for various antibody like autoantibody that may react against donor's RBC and cause hemolysis. So it is ideal to do the antibody screening of the patient. Blood collection and storage. So collection of blood. Venipuncture is done to collect the blood. So ideally not more than 350 ml of blood is collected from the single donor. So from the single donor you have to collect only 350 ml of blood. From the antecubital vein, blood flows freely into collecting bottle that contain anticoagulant, that is EDTA, ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. Usual collection time is 7 to 10 minutes. So blood mixed with the anticoagulant, 50 to 70 ml anticoagulant. Sorry, here is anticoagulant is citrate phosphate dextrose, CPD. So this anticoagulant is citrate phosphate dextrose. Disodium hydrogen citrate is used instead of trisodium as anticoagulant because this favors the fall of the pH which is required for the survival RBC. So here we use disodium hydrogen citrate instead of trisodium hydrogen citrate, and the anticoagulant is citrate phosphate dextrose adenine. So blood is collected from antecubital vein, 350 ml of blood is collected and collection time is 7 to 10 minutes. So during collection of blood, blood pressure and heart rate is monitored after collection, especially before they get up from the supine posture. So immediately after collecting the blood pressure and heart rate is monitored. Okay, and donor is asked to remain in the supine posture for some time. Normally some degree of diaphoresis, bradycardia or hypertension or dizziness accompany this bleeding. So donors are advised not to go for work for rest of the day and should avoid exercise. They are also advised not to donate blood for at least next 3 months. And they also offer some biscuits or tea, okay, after Autologous donor blood. When the donor is a recipient himself, the blood collected is called the autologous donor blood. Transfusion is called autologous transfusion. Autologous transfusion is not practiced before, but in the AIDS epidemic has increased the necessity and importance of the autologous blood transfusion in transfusion medicine. This can be done prior to any planned surgery. The hemoglobin of the person should be more than 12.5 gram percentage. Blood is collected every 72 hours up to 72 hours prior to the surgery till this hemoglobin level has not gone below 11 gram percentage. So usually 2 to 4 units of blood of 250 ml of each can be collected. Then same blood is used during the surgery. So that is about the autologous blood transfusion, means donor is recipient himself. Storage of the blood. So blood is stored in the blood bank at 4 degrees Celsius. Stored blood for transfusion should ideally be used within the 2 weeks of storage. However, blood should not be used if they stored more than 3 weeks. So gross hemolysis occur after this period. So what are the changes occur during storage in the RBC? So RBC undergo repeat changes during storage in simple citrate solution even at the 4 degrees Celsius. So during cold storage, the changes that occur are mainly due to reduced metabolism of the RBC. So what happen? In RBC there is increase in the sodium and decrease in the potassium concentration. Okay, so sodium increase and potassium is decreased. Hypokalemia occur. This is decreased due to decreased active transport of ions across the cell membrane. At low temperature, sodium potassium pump activity is also grossly decreased. So this result in the net increase in the total base and water of the cell. So base level increase and water increase. So inhibition of sodium and potassium pump increase the intracellular sodium concentration. So hypernatremia, and this causes water to enter the cell by endosmosis. So because of the endosmosis, cells swell and become more spherotic. This produces the spontaneous hemolysis. Leukocyte and platelet almost totally disappear within 24 to 48 hours of storage. The ATP contained in the cell decreases and inorganic phosphate concentration increases. So this is due to the imbalance between the phosphorylation and dephosphorylation procedure in the cell. So sodium potassium pump activity decrease at low temperature, so increase the base and water of the cell. Also inhibition of sodium potassium pump increase sodium concentration, so produce water, enter endosmosis, cell swell and spherotic cell become spontaneous hemolysis occur because of spherocyte of the RBC. Leukocyte and platelet disappear within 24 to 48 hours of storage. ATP content in the cell decrease and neuronic phosphate concentration increase. This is due to imbalance between phosphorylation and dephosphorylation process in the cell. So what are the changes in the stored blood after transfusion? So within the 24-hour transfusion, the cell metabolism is greatly increased. Subsequently, the sodium is extruded from the cells and potassium draw back into the cell. The volume, shape and fragility of RBC back to normal within 24 to 48 hours. Red cells show 80% survival 24 hours after transfusion if the transfusion is given within 14 days of storage of the blood. But survival rate if the blood is stored more than 2 weeks. Therefore, it is advisable to use blood ideally within 14 days of storage. Though blood can be used up to 21 days. Blood should never be used more after 30 days of storage. So these are the changes in the stored blood after transfusion. Hazards of mismatched blood transfusion. So this can be asked as a short note. Hazards of mismatched blood transfusion. So blood transfusion, even the ideal condition, carry risk of adverse reaction. Mostly transfusion reaction occur due to human error. Due to mismatched transfusion, when the incompatible blood is transfused, the mismatched transfusion reaction occur immediately. So this reaction is primarily due to agglutination of the donor's RBC followed by their hemolysis. So this is called this acute hemolytic transfusion reaction. So it usually occurs due to the ABO incompatibility, and this is the reaction, severity of reaction depends on this degree of this hemolysis. So this is the ABO incompatibility due to mismatched blood transfusion. So the complication of mismatched blood transfusion are shivering, that is cold and fever, febrile reaction occurs usually. Release of hemoglobin, so rise of hemoglobin in the blood, that is hemoglobinuria, and hemoglobinemia, and appearance of hemoglobin in the urine that produces hemoglobinuria, and there is hemolytic jaundice occur. Acute renal failure. So renal failure occurs due to the hemoglobin cast that blocking these renal tubules and damaging the tubules. Release of toxic substances from the lysis RBC that cause renal vasoconstriction and circulatory shock. So acute renal failure occurred due to hemoglobin cast blocking the renal tubules and damaging the tubules. Release of toxic substance from the lysis red cell cause renal vasoconstriction, circulatory shock. Hyperkalemia due to release of this potassium ions from the RBC. This may cause cardiac arrest in the diastole. Due to the faulty techniques of giving blood, which are the complications arise. Thrombophlebitis is the common complication in those who receive the repeated transfusion that we can see in the thalassemia patient, in which the repeated blood transfusion every month is given. Air embolism. Air enters the venous circulation and get lodged at this outlet of this right ventricle and blocks the flow of blood to the lungs. That may occur in this air embolism. Use of plastic bags has reduced this complication. The massive transfusion, when the more than 10 units of blood are given within 24 hours, when the total blood volume is exceeded within 24 hours, this leads to circulatory overload. So cardiac arrhythmias and even sometimes cardiac arrest occur due to high potassium level in the stored blood. So this is the faulty techniques of giving blood. In these colic complications arise thrombophlebitis, air embolism, circulatory overload, and cardiac arrhythmias, hyperkalemia, cardiac arrest, febrile reaction. So if the blood transfusion is done immediately, then patient feels cold and rigor due to rising body temperature, because this happens to preserve pyrogens in the transfusion apparatus. Allergic reaction is less frequent and characterized by itching, erythema, nausea, vomiting, and anaphylactic reaction. Also, due to blood transfusions, some diseases occur like hepatitis, AIDS, syphilis, and malaria. So this disease transfused by the blood, transmitted by blood transfusion. So this is all about the blood transfusion and its method, indication, and complication of blood transfusion.